What is going on, everyone? We are going to be talking about the Houston Texans 2023 offensive line, and I'm going to ask you guys to drop your grade down below. Let me know if you think this offensive line did good. Let me know if you think this offensive line did bad. Me personally, I am giving them a B. It could be a C minus. This season for the offensive line, a lot of ups and downs. The downs being injuries. I mean, the injuries started all the way back in training camp and continued the entire season. The ups, there were about 6 games throughout the season where the Houston Texans did not allow a single sack. You saw some of your young draft picks step in and make an impact. Juice Scruggs, Jared Patterson. And I have another question for you guys today. Is the O-line a priority in free agency and the draft? The reason why I ask, I dropped the TikTok and I asked them, what do you think are the biggest needs? 70% of the comments were saying offensive line. I do not think offensive line is a priority this year for the Houston Texans and general manager Nick Caserio. I will get to that as the video continues. But ladies and gentlemen, I think there is a future with this offensive line. You definitely have to build and grow with it. We're going to discuss this next. Welcome, everyone, to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I am your host, Ruben Calavillo. I drop daily Houston, Texas content, so make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for the latest news, rumors, and updates. And if you guys are new here, welcome. I'm trying to hit 10K subscribers by the end of the season. Please help me get there, and thank you all so much for watching today's episode. Now, to answer the second question, do I think the Houston Texans should invest into their offensive line this free agency and this NFL draft? My answer is no, but only due to the previous work they put in the previous seasons. I think this offensive line needs to grow together. Just look at what they did this offseason. They gave Laremy Tunsil a 3-year, $75 million extension that includes $50 million guaranteed. They also not only traded for veteran right guard Shaq Mason, they extended him to a 3-year, $36 million extension with $22 million guaranteed. And Shaq Mason was your only healthy offensive lineman all year. And Titus Howard, no matter how you feel about him, in his contract year last season at right tackle, balled out, got a 3-year, $56 million contract extension with $36 million guaranteed. Those three aren't going anywhere. They're going to be here for some time. You look at what Nick Caserio did in the draft as well, trading up in the second round, selecting Juice Scruggs, center from Penn State, played a lot of football for you this year, started the season on IR, finished the season strong for you. Nick Caserio also double dipped in the 6th round, selecting center slash guard Jared Patterson for Notre Dame, started off strong, finished the season on IR, man. The injuries just killed this offensive line the entire year. But both of those two rookies play significant football for you. Those are building pieces for this offensive line in the future. And do not forget, you selected Kenyon Green in the 1st round last year, 15th overall. You were not giving up on him. I hope he comes back strong and fights for a roster spot, because I'm not giving Kenyon Green the left guard position. He is going to have to fight for it. But with all these additions and all these contracts thrown out, I do not think the Houston Texans prioritize the offensive line this year via free agency or the NFL draft. Switching to the Houston Texans offensive line performance this season, we thought the original starting 5 were going to be Laremy Tunsil at left tackle, Kenyon Green at left guard, Juice Scruggs at center, Shaq Mason at right guard, and Titus Howard at right tackle. That didn't happen. This projected 5 didn't even play one down together this year. As I mentioned, injuries destroyed this Houston Texan offensive line the entire season. It started all the way back in training camp when you lost second-year left guard Kenyon Green due to a shoulder. That was heartbreaking. A lot of fans were upset. This is someone who you took in the top 20, and fans were throwing out the bus label when they heard the news about Kenyon Green being shut down. Then it was Titus Howard breaking his hand during a training camp practice. Me and Harley were in attendance. We saw Titus Howard come out, warm up, do some individual drills. Then we didn't see him again. We found out at the training camp practice that he broke his hand. It was Juice Scruggs, who you traded up for in the second round, missed the first 10 games of the season due to a hamstring, then finished strong, immediately thrusted into the starting role, played well for you. When you had guys like Titus Howard and Juice Scruggs come out, Nick Caserio had made some trades, brought in Kendrick Green from the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he only started 4 games for you because he tore his meniscus. Jared Patterson, who you drafted in the 6th round this year, started strong for the Houston Texans, started the first 7 games as a 6th round pick. Unfortunately, ends the season on IR with a fractured fibula, man. I hope Jared Patterson comes out strong. Josh Jones, who you also traded for from the Arizona Cardinals, dealing with the hand issue the entire year, was one of your consistent offensive linemen. And one of the guys that we haven't talked about yet, who came out and showed up, signed during training camp, George Fant, was previously with the New York Jets, had a solid year at right tackle for the Houston Texans, definitely made himself some money. However, is someone who also missed some time. We saw Charlie Hicks start multiple games at right tackle for the Houston Texans. Look, this is just injuries, guys. This is just injuries. But with all these injuries, there are 5 to 6 games here where the Houston Texan offensive line did not allow a single sack. Week 3 against Jacksonville, week 4 against Atlanta, week 8 against Carolina, week 18 against the Denver Broncos, the wild card round against the Cleveland Browns, and the divisional one against the Baltimore Ravens. But that one's kind of suspect. Even though CJ Stroud was not sacked at all, we knew he was under pressure since the opening whistle. It is really hard to judge an offensive line that had so many injuries the entire year. The ending offensive line for the Houston Texans, it was Laramie Tunsil, Juice Scruggs at left guard, Michael Dieter at center, Shaq Mason for you at right guard, and George Fant for you at right tackle. That was the ending offensive line for the Houston Texans. And, I gave them a grade of a B, could have been a C minus. I have to be honest here. I have to be fair. The Baltimore Ravens game left a sour taste in my mouth. The 2 false starts from Laramie Tunsil, the 2 false starts from George Fant, the false start from Shaq Mason. These are veterans here. Laramie Tunsil also had multiple false starts against the Indianapolis Colts. This is a guy who wants to be an all-pro and complains about not making an all-pro. But it seems like Laramie Tunsil and false starts are consistent, and that's not saying I don't like Laramie Tunsil. I think he's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. But his playoff run, I don't think was good. Juice Scruggs, what more can you ask for a rookie who, like I mentioned, missed the first 10 games due to a hamstring? Michael Dieter stepped in, was pretty much your center for the entire year, and no one thought that Dieter was going to be your starting guy. I mean, he also saw some time at left guard. He also saw some time at right tackle. Michael Dieter was moving all over the ball for you, and I remember that rep at right tackle. Oh my God, was he absolutely destroyed. Nonetheless, Michael Dieter was solid for you. I don't think this dude is starting for you next year. Shaq Mason, as I mentioned, your only consistent piece all year on the offensive line. PFF graded him high against the run, high against the pass. Didn't miss a game for you. Only allowed 3 sacks this season. One quarterback hit a solid season in his first year with the Houston Texans. I love Shaq Mason. I cannot wait for the future with him. George Fant, as I mentioned, stepped in for Titus Howard going out, spent some time this season at both right tackle and left tackle for the Houston Texans, a pass blocking grade of 69.4, run blocking 53.8. But when you are on a new team, you're not supposed to be the starter, but you step up and hey, you made a name for yourself and you made a name for yourself in the offseason. I don't think the Houston Texans bring back George Fant. He's someone that's going to ask for a bag next year and he might get it. Ladies and gentlemen, the offensive line this year for the Houston Texans was um, Like I said, it was a B. I could have gave them a C minus. There is a lot invested into this group, and to have the ending game you did against Baltimore, like I said, it really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But let me know what you guys think about this Houston Texan offensive line. For more content, y'all know what to do. Follow me for more. Go H-Town. Y'all have a very blessed day.